Hello, and welcome back to another Chris McPherson Show Daily Dose. Time to talk some Aussie Open, and we are rocketing along as we head towards day 7. We look at day 6. It's almost done and dusted. Plenty of action unpacked. Plenty of seeds falling as we get into that third round point where they're going toe-to-toe in some cracking clashes. Of course, if you love your tennis action and you love your tennis updates, make sure to hit subscribe on the channel. Hit like on the video as well if you're enjoying it. Get involved in the comments as well. Let us know what your takeaways were from the day so far and what you're looking forward to tomorrow and where we might have got some of our predictions wrong. But let's get into day 6 and let's talk some seeds that have fallen. Starting on the women's side of things, starting with the 14th seed, Clara Towson, who was defeated by Victoria Mboka, the Canadian teen, in the 17th seed in 3 sets, 7-6, 5-7, 6-3. Towson out hit by Mboka. Mboka, obviously a name to watch and on the rise. She is an absolute star of the tennis world, and she's going to have a big task in the next round, but we will get to that in a little while. But in the meantime, she is through to the final 16. That is the main thing that we look at here, which is a big achievement for young Victoria Mboka, not yet 20 and continuing her rise. Speaking of young stars on the rise, Jasmine Paolini, not that young in comparison to her opponent and not still in the tournament, the 7th seed. She went down in straight sets to young American Eva Jovic, the 29th seed, 6-2, 7-6, a momentous occasion for the young American as she heads through to the 4th round of a slam. She is certainly going to be on the rise. She's going to be pushing up into that top 20 when this tournament's finished, maybe even into the mid-teens. And if she can continue this with not many points to defend in 2026, she will be rocketing up the rankings, and she is going to be one of the teams to watch alongside the likes of Mira Andreeva and Victoria Mboka as we push into 2026 and beyond. The other seeds dropping out in the women's was Diana Schneider, the 23rd seed. She went down probably as to the script to Elena Svitolina, the 12th seed. And that was 7-6, 6-3 to Svitolina. A pretty textbook win for Svitolina. Schneider did well pushing through to the 3rd round. Played to script, played to a seeding. But Svitolina too strong here, and she gets into the last 16 of a slam again. On the men's side of the draw, again, a little bit of predictability. The wild card excitement machine, Corentin Moutet, and predictability very rarely go hand in hand, but a straight sets loss to Carlos Alcaraz, 6-2, 6-4, 6-1 was exactly that. Alcaraz continues to march on, the number 1 seed, and is just dominating at the moment and is heading towards what seems at the moment, based on form, with an inevitable position in the final 4, if not the final 2, where you would expect. And we may see again another Sincaraz final, but plenty of water to go under that bridge still. Other men's seeds of 4, Alejandro Davidovich Fokina had to retire after 2 sets in his match to Tommy Paul, the 14th seed, withdrawing against the 19th seed, the American going through. He was up 6-1, 6-1 at that point, and it was clear that Davidovich Fokina's 5-set match in the previous round had clearly taken its toll on him. And finally, the last 2 seeds to fall, one of those was Andrei Rublev. He was defeated by Francisco Cerundolo in a little bit of an upset, the 13th seed. Continued his run of probably under-delivering at slams. I think it's fair to say we talked about it in our preview, how many times he's fallen short. He's made a lot of 4th rounds, a lot of quarterfinals. He had the potential to do so much more. Here he was seeded to expect to go through to the 4th round. He doesn't get there, drops out in the 3rd round. Cerundolo goes forward, and it was impressive. He used the weight of his shots, the weight of the court, and just outpowered Rublev. So he wins 6-3, 7-6, 6-3. So a good win for Cerundolo, and he marches on. Some other notable points before we get to Aussie Watch. Daniil Medvedev went through after being down 2 sets to love. He'll play Lerner Tien next after Lerner Tien beat Nuno Borges. And then Yulia Putintseva is embracing being the villain, the Kazakh star. She was playing it up to the crowd in her 2nd round match. She did it again in her 3rd round match, where after defeating Zeynep Sonmez from Turkey, she had the hand behind the ear asking for some noise from the crowd. When she got the boo, she started to blow kisses. She is leaning into this villain storyline. And to be honest, I'm loving it. I like having some players. We like the light. We like the show. We like having some players that the crowd want to get against. So certainly something a little different. Speaking of something a little different, well, Alex de Minaur in absolutely red-hot form at a slam. He is marching on at the moment, knocking out Francis Tiafoe, the 29th seed, in straight sets, 6-3, 6-4, 7-5. That match has literally just finished as we go to record now. We'd held out for that, and to see Alex go through to the last 16. Still plenty of work for him to do. Still some tough matches, a potential quarterfinal with Carlos Alcaraz. we'll wait and see whether he gets there or not. He's got another win to get to before that. We move on from Aussie Watch because it's a very neat, narrow and lean one, as is Aussies in Action on day 7. It's going to be thin on the ground. It is just Madison Inglis, and she has a huge job up against former 3-time Grand Slam champion, the 16th seed, Japan's Naomi Osaka. This is going to be an interesting one for Inglis, and the matchup, let's be honest, it's probably not that favourable is one way to put it. When we have a look at this, they have not played together before, played against each other before, I should say, but they are going toe-to-toe here. The 168th ranked Inglis into the third round of a slam up against the 17th ranked Osaka, the 16th seed. I'd love to find a narrative here where Madison Inglis wins a set, let alone wins the match. But I think Osaka will be too powerful. She'll advance to the round of 16. Madison Inglis will be able to doff her cap as the most successful Australian at this slam on the female side of the draw after tomorrow night's action on Rod Laver Arena. And she'll get the chance to go out there on Rod Laver Arena and try and put on a show with nothing to lose. But I've got Osaka getting this one done in straight sets, unfortunately for Madison Inglis. Again, I'd love to be proven wrong, but I just think when you have a look at the records, Osaka is absolutely a short price favourite there for a reason. We now head on to our matches not to miss. And we've got 4 women's and 4 men's matches to dig into. Let's start with Iga Swiatek, the number 2 seed. She comes up against the 31st seed, Anna Kalinskaya. A 2-1 head-to-head record for Swiatek. All matches they've played before against each other have been on hard courts. Kalinskaya won the first of those back in 2024 in Dubai, but twice last year, Iga Swiatek got past her, first in the quarterfinals in Cincinnati, and then also in the third round at the US Open in August last year, a very similar spot to where they find themselves now. So the chips against Kalinskaya, not exactly groundbreaking wins. She beat Sonne Cartel and Julia Grabher in straight sets. More confidence for me taken from Iga Swiatek's second round win over Marie Buskova, 6-2, 6-3. We saw her make it through to the final as well. Some good performances at the United Cup. So I'm going to go with Swiatek here. I think she'll be too strong. She looks like she's warming into things as she's building her little bit of a run now, a 5-2 record for 2026. So I think Swiatek will get this one done in straight sets. The second of our matches not to miss on the women's side of the draw will be Rod Laver Arena tomorrow morning. Early start because of the projected heat. And we've got a former world number 1 up against the defending champion. Karolina Pliskova comes up against Madison Keys. Madison Keys, the defending champion. These two have only played once before in their career, which is quite phenomenal to think when you think about the longevity of their career. And interestingly enough, it was in Australia, but it was 5 years ago, way before a thing called COVID, back in January 2020. Pliskova did win that one, but it's a very different Karolina Pliskova that we're looking at today. She's only got the 2 matches under her belt, the wins over Sloane Stephens and Janice Chen. I think she's got the game to absolutely take it to Madison Keys here, but I just think that Keys will be a little bit stronger. I'm going to go Madison Keys to get it done, but I'm going to get Pliskova winning a set here. So I'm going to go Madison Keys in 3 sets to proceed through to the 4th round. But as I said, this will open Rod Laver Arena early tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. The action will be starting because of the projected heat. Next up, we go an all-American clash to push through here. And we've got Peyton Stearns up against Amanda Anisimova. So the unseeded Stearns, she has been ranked as high as 28, up against the 4th seed, Amanda Anisimova. These two well known to each other in terms of both being young Americans on the rise, but have only played once on the tour, and that was in Madrid last year, and Stearns actually got it done. The clay would have suited her a little better. Anisimova's power game probably not as rounded on clay at that point, but again, Anisimova is in absolutely magnificent form at the moment. When you have a look at her wins so far, she has been clinical. She's dropped just 10 games on her way to this point. That said, certainly impressed with Stearns. Her first round win over Sophia Kenin, 3-2. She then beat Petra Marcinko, 2-5 in the second round. But again, I think Anisimova gets it done here. I think Stearns will challenge her, but I think Anisimova will get it done in straight sets. This is a woman who's chasing down her first slam. And again, I've tipped her for it, and I'm backing her in here again. Maybe something, in the 6-4, 6-4 sort of range. I think it's only going to take 1 break each set for her to get on top on Margaret Court Arena tomorrow. So really looking forward to that one. Our 4th and final women's match to watch is Elisa Mertens the 21st seed taking on Nicola Bartenkova. Bartenkova ranked 126 in the world, the 19-year-old Czech. She's certainly on the rise. She's been impressive so far in this tournament, and she's made her way all the way through qualifying and then knocked out Daria Kasatkina in the first round, despite a blip that saw her lose the second set 6-love, which is a bit of a habit she's got now. She did that again against Belinda Bencic, knocking out the 10th seed in the second round. Not a habit that you want to be continuing, I wouldn't have thought. So she'll need to sort that out because otherwise someone's going to take that opportunity when they give it to her. For Mertens, she's taken out Uchijima and Tarudari, the two Asian tennis players, Thailand and Japan, respectively, in the first 2 rounds. But this is going to be an interesting one. I actually think that Bartenkova's half a chance of taking Mertens here. And I'm going to go, not with a huge amount of confidence, but I'm going to predict Bartenkova to win this one in 3 sets. I've been really impressed with what I've seen from her so far. And I think she can be the smoky. There's always 1 or 2 of them pushing through, especially in a women's draw, into the final 16. So Nicola Bartenkova to get this done, the 19-year-old Czech, in 3 sets. We now move on to the men's side of the draw. And, some things get better with age. Stan Wawrinka, not necessarily one of those, but he's playing some pretty good tennis at the moment. Ranked 139 in the world, a 3-time Grand Slam winner who only, surprisingly, with winning 3 Grand Slams, got to number 3 in the world. He obviously loves the Australian Open, has performed really well here over the years. And look, he's been pretty solid so far. Far from his best, but he's been solid. But he's got a big task coming up against him. The number 9 seeded American Taylor Fritz. Still, again, one of these crew of younger players. 28, maybe not that young, let's be fair. But compared to Stan Wawrinka, they all are. Coming through, trying to chase that elusive slam, maybe push their way up into the top of the rankings behind Sinner and Alcaraz. That number 3 spot is up for grabs at the moment, certainly. Wawrinka holds a 2-1 head-to-head record. Interestingly, they've played on grass, indoor hard, and clay, but never outdoor hard court in their career. But Wawrinka's wins go back to 2016 and 2018. The last time they met was in the Rolex Masters in Monte Carlo in 2023, where Fritz got the win. I don't think you can take too much from that. I think we need to have a look at their lead-up matches. And Valentin Royer in the first round for Taylor Fritz, a solid win, 4 sets, a little bit of a blemish in the second, but then he put the foot on the throat. Vit Capriva, he did the job nice and cleanly. You look on the other side, Wawrinka's had to play a lot more tennis, 4 sets in the first round against Laszlo Djere. Then Arthur Gaya took him on and had to go to 5 sets and a tiebreak in the 5th to get that one won. So I think Wawrinka, the legs are going to be starting to get heavy, and I'd love to find the narrative to say that he gets it done here. I can see him maybe taking a set off Fritz, and that's a maybe. Again, I think there's a little bit of wishful thinking of, the grand old days of Stan Wawrinka in his prime a decade ago. I'm going to go Fritz to get this one done in straight sets. I'd love, as I said, to find that narrative, but I just don't see how Stan Wawrinka does so. If he does pull it off, well, I'll tell you what, maybe he is getting better with age like a fine red wine. We move on to the next match, and we're talking about a couple of seeded players going head-to-head here. The 15th seed, Karen Khachanov, up against the 22nd seed from Italy, Luciano Darderi. This one will be on Kia Arena. First thing to start the day, again at 10:30, the earlier start with the heat. Now, these two have never played on the tour. 2 players that have certainly got plenty of hustle and grind about them and have had some decent wins to get through to this point. For Darderi, beat Christian Garin in the first round, 7-6, 7-5, 7-6, and then a 4-setter against Sebastian Baez. A little bit concerned about that blemish in the second set where Baez won the second set 6-1, but Darderi recovered. Khachanov, he'll roll up the sleeves. He got it done against Alex Michelsen. He went to 5 in the first round, then was clean and clinical against Nishesh Basafareddy in the second round, 6-1, 6-4, 6-3. I like the Russian here. Khachanov to get this one done. I think Darderi might fight and grab one early off him, so I'm going to go Khachanov to get this done in 4 sets. As I said, this one will be kicking off Kia Arena on Saturday morning. Next up, we head to one of the rising stars at the belated age of 27 in the tennis world, Valentin Vachereau, the Polish 30th seed, up against Ben Shelton, the 8th seed. Shelton's been on a bit of a run here. He has been in really good form to start this tournament, and I expect that these guys, while they've only played once before, I expect it might be a similar sort of repeat. It goes way back to 2022 in a Challenger tournament, back when Shelton was doing the Challenger rounds while still at college in Las Vegas. It was a 3-set win to Shelton at that point. He's been clinical, as I said, to start this tournament. 3 sets over Ugo Humbert, and he knocked out Australia's Dane Sweeney 6-3, 6-2, 6-2 in the second round. For Vachereau, He's been solid. Beat Martin Dam in 3 sets, then was taken to 4 by Aussie sensation Rinky Hijikata. So they've got that in common. They both knocked out an Aussie in the second round. So it'll be interesting to see how the Aussie crowd takes the two of them. But I just think Shelton is just looking absolutely next level. He's box office tennis at the moment, and this one will be in the middle of the afternoon on Margaret Court Arena. Shelton loves the heat. He'll lap it up. How Vachereau deals with that and the bigger stage is going to be interesting. I think Shelton gets this one done in 4 sets. Vachereau will probably wilt under the pressure and just not having the experience in the big matches, which Shelton's shown he loves that here at the Oz Open. Has performed well at opportunities previously. And, I think, again, Vachereau's dream run might come to an end. You've got to remember, this is Ben Shelton, who in 3 endeavours down here to Australia has made it to the 3rd round in 2024. His first time here was the quarterfinals, and last year was the semi-finals. So I think he'll advance to the 4th round at least here, and then we'll see what comes next for him. And last but not least, we talked old stages with the great Stan Wawrinka, another former Grand Slam champion at the age of 37, trying to wind back the clock is Marin Cilic, and he comes up against Casper Ruud, the 27-year-old 12th seed. Now, these guys have played 4 times before, and Ruud holds a 4-0 head-to-head record. So if we have a look at those and we talk through it, the one time on hard court was in 2021, and that was at the in Toronto. They did play last year on indoor hard court where Ruud got it done in straight sets against Cilic in October, and that was off the back of Cilic's really good run at Wimbledon as well. Ruud has got past Jean Mounard in straight sets and Matteo Bellucci, so good wins for him. But also Cilic, straight sets, 6-love, 6-love, 7-6 against Daniel Altmaier in the first round, and then 6-4, 6-3, 6-2 in the second round against Denis Shapovalov, knocking him out. So I think Cilic can take a set here. I can't see him going all the distance with Casper Ruud. So I think Ruud gets this one done in 4 sets, and that's what I'm projecting in terms of the way this plays out. So that's your day 6 wrap, your day 7 preview. There are still some matches in action as we go to go to print, if you will. We've still got Alexander Zverev. Actually, Alexander Zverev has just knocked out Cameron Norrie. So Cameron Norrie is officially out, 7-5, 4-6, 6-3, 6-1. Alexander Bublik's in action against Thomas Echeverry, which will have the result of that by the time you listen or watch this. And Mira Andreeva still to take court on Rod Laver Arena. So that's a wrap for day 6. Looking ahead to day 7, a big thank you to you for tuning in. Make sure, if you want to stay up to date with your tennis every day through the Australian Open, you hit subscribe, give it a like on the video, and get involved in the comments. Let us know who we've got wrong, who we've got right, and who you see as that smoky dark horse in both the men's and women's draws emerging. But until next time, a big thanks for tuning in to your home of the black and white of sports. No grey opinions here on the Chris McPherson Show.